Okay, I'm sorry that it took so long to make this video. I was busy doing a couple other things, but we're getting to it now, so we're gonna put the handle together first on the sentria too. So I have my polished aluminum. So you're gonna first start with this a little bit, and it goes on the front of the handle like this. And then there's two screw holes here and here. And we're going to want a small screwdriver, I think T15, right? T15 is for all of the handle screws, I believe. I think they're all T15s. You don't want to tighten these too far down because you have to remember that they're just going into plastic, and you would not want to strip these. So there's that. And then you're going to want to take your back handle plastic bit and kind of put it on there. And then there's 5 screws, 2 at the bottom, 2 in the middle, and 1 at the top. So 7 screws in total, including the first 2 we just put on. These ones you don't have to be as careful about, but still be careful because they're just going into the aluminum. And the aluminum is a soft metal, so it can easily strip. I have had screws strip on the aluminum before, so and I also just reorganized my vacuum shed, and it looks a lot better than it did. I also got rid of a desk that was in here. I thought I would use it a lot more than I did. I used it once. Other than that, it was just used for storage. Sorry about the cars going by. So once you have all 5 of those screws on, this will be completely on. Then you can take your top handle and push it in, and then you're gonna have this bolt, the spring, and your top cord hook. You're gonna put your spring into the cord hook, then the screw through, so it looks like this. This is Phillips. So you're gonna screw that on. And then you got your nice and polished, clean handle. Now, we're going to do the front nozzle, which is also nice and polished. So first, we're going to take the rubber bumper and put that on. And my mom's rubber bumper probably could use a replacing because one of our lovely dogs decided to chew on it. And I cannot imagine that. There's scratches in the aluminum where they chewed on it, so I cannot imagine that felt nice on their teeth. But yeah, so this is the brush roll, and I took the end caps off of mine. So you're just going to want to find your little metal things, and then your indicator light, because those go on the indicator light side. And then the gray side goes on with the little metal bits. The light gray side goes on first, and then your dark gray one. And then for this one, it's not actually super worn down, so I'm going to put it on setting 2 because it is a little bit worn. And then you want to make sure both sides are on setting 2. You're going to want to put your belt on. So make sure both sides are on setting 2. Then insert your brush roll. And you'll know you'll have it on either the it won't go in because there are different sizes, which is kind of what it looks like I did, is maybe put them out, never mind, because they're on wrong, or when you turn it on, your light won't light up, so you need to pull those end caps back off and like flip them around so it's on correctly. But then you're going to take your base plate, and there's little 2 catches on the front, so you go front and then to back, make sure it's completely on flat, and then do up your 2 little clips. Oh, actually, nope, I am doing this wrong. You're first gonna want to put your bumper on. Then you're gonna have this plastic piece, put it on the back side like this. Then you're gonna have this like wavy washer, which goes on. Then the flat washer kind of thing. I don't know if they're washers or what they're called. Then your belt lifter. And then your belt lifter hook. I need to switch my screwdriver head out, so. And then, while holding this on, you're gonna flip this over, and then it's gonna be, I can't show this, I'll show it when it's on, but there's like grooves that this sits in, so you don't get it off track. But these can be difficult to do. I've struggled with these in the past before, so tighten that all the way down. So if you can see in there, it's kind of grooved in a certain way. So now you can take your brush roll, put it in, the right way. Put your brush roll in the right way. So insert your brush roll, which for some reason this is being difficult again. So put your brush roll, move your belt to the center of it, the center of your brush roll, and then catch the belt with your belt lifter, just like that. And then from front to back, clip your base plate on, and do up these 2 latches on the back, there and there. Then you got nice, clean, and polished muzzle. So now we're going to work on the main motor unit, which in video 1 we got most of this together. It's just the aluminum bits that haven't gone on yet. So first thing we're going to do is you're going to take your fan case, and then you're going to get your little screws with your little clip things. Get those out. Then your height adjustment pedal. Put your spring in the end of it. And I don't have my grease on me right now, so I'll do this off camera. You're gonna put this piece, your pedal adjuster, on like this. Then this, you're gonna slot on and push back like this. Then take your 2 clips, screw it down like here and here. Screw both of these down so it doesn't fall off. And obviously you would want to, you can do this while it's together, which is what I'm going to be doing because I don't have my grease on me right now. Well, I have it on me, I don't have my Q-tips to apply it with. So I'll have to get some of those. So then you're gonna take a Q-tip with some grease, and push it in here, and then raise it up, put it in, raise it down a couple times, raise it back up. Do that a couple times and wipe off the excess grease that's squished out of it. Then you can take this piece and put that in right here. This spot. Then you're gonna have this bracket, and then there's gonna be, sometimes these are supposed to be attached, these 2 little plastic pieces, and then this. Those 3, your insert for your headlight, and then your headlight hood, your metal aluminum piece. and your trim. So first thing you're going to do is take this and put your headlight hood and attach like a plastic insert and attach your LED lights on the front, your headlight, clip that in, and then take your headlight hood, your trim, put this on your headlight hood, get that on there, and then maneuver it over this piece, kind of like that. I'm going to want to make sure to get every bit of the trim in, or else it's not going to look correct. So then, underneath here, you're going to take these two little black pieces. Let me carefully set this down. Take these two little black pieces, sandwich this bar for this. And then there's a little groove underneath your headlight hood that you're going to put this in. And once you have that in, I take this and line it up over top of that, and then screw that all down. And then after this is going to be one of the hardest parts to do, is this. This is the last hardest part to do, so after this it should be pretty smooth afterwards, because there's not much harder stuff to do. The nozzle, the headlight, and the headlight hood are definitely the two hardest things to do when putting it back together. Or, well, the two hardest end things to do is put the belt lifter on and the headlight hood. So, once that's on, once you got all your 3 screws in, I'll show you what it looks like. And I'm pretty sure that almost all G-Series models are pretty similar, so this will work, I think, on the G3s too. There might be a couple screws in different spots, but other than that, it's about the same. So it's gonna look like this. This is what I was talking about right there. Then there's 2 more screws that go up in these spots, which are also smaller screws. Be best if you had a magnetic screwdriver, but I don't. So this is kind of difficult to do. Definitely pretty difficult to do. Can definitely be pretty time consuming trying to get these screws to want to fit in these holes. But it would be a lot easier if your screwdriver was magnetic, because then you could magnet the screw to your screwdriver and then just easily put it in place. Then oh, actually, I put this on wrong. I put this is on wrong. I actually put my own wrong, so it's a common problem that I have. and if it's not on right, your headlight hood will not be able to be secured down. So you're gonna want to get this on right. That's what I mean when it's one of the more difficult things to do, because if it's not on right, it won't go on. It just won't work out. And if your headlight hood's like extremely hard to open, it's supposed to be a little bit stiff so it doesn't just close when you're trying to change it from tools to hard floor or carpets to tools and tools to carpets. It's supposed to be a little bit more stiff so it doesn't just fall back down as you're changing over. But it also shouldn't be so stiff that it's like almost impossible to open. So you can put a little bit of grease in between those two black pieces underneath, in between those two black pieces with that bar, if it's extremely hard to open or open and close. You can do that to solve that problem. But it shouldn't be a super big problem. So, and then last screw. So if you have this on correctly, it should sit down in here pretty nicely, like this. All nice. So then there's these two screws that kind of have their kind of rounded heads on them, which you're gonna want. And then there's on the sentrias, I don't know if the sentria has it, but the newer ones have two little washers that go underneath, so you're gonna want to put those on. Don't be like me and drop them down into the motor though. So and then these are T25s, I think. This is not T25, this is T20. Maybe they are T20s. Oh, they're T20s, okay. So, screw these down. And then you'll have your headlight hood all nice and secured and on. So it's all nice and on. Then you're going to take your little lens, and you're going to latch it onto the top, then the bottom, so your headlight lens is on. And then you're going to take your fan case, put that over your fan, and at this stage you can put a little bit of silicone around it. I should, because I was using one of mine. I noticed that it was blowing a lot of dust, so I would recommend doing that. But I don't have any on me, or else I would put some silicone on this. But I don't, so I can't. But sometimes there's enough silicone left on it, as long as you don't scrape all of it off. When you're taking it apart, as long as you don't scrape all of it off when you're washing it and taking it apart, or even putting it back together, then it might be enough to reseal back on and together. And then when you're putting the fan case on, these are going to be your 5 longest screws in your thing. Now we're almost completely finished putting this back together, because you're going to tighten all 5 of these screws down. Not super duper tight that they strip. Well, I've never had problems with these ones stripping, actually. But I wouldn't recommend using a drill. Maybe to take them out when you're taking the machine apart, but not putting them back in. I would not. I just wouldn't put them, because they're more prone to strip when you use a drill to put the screws back in. And I, to be honest, do not like dealing with strip screws unless you have a screw extractor, which I finally got for my Heritage 2. So now once you're finished putting those on, you can put your nozzle on. Close your headlight hood. Then you can take your back housing and pop the trim onto it. Pop all that back on. Put that on. And then you're gonna have 2 screws that go back here. Put those screws in. And sometimes it helps to like squeeze the trim. So when you tighten the screw, it stays more flat against the machine. Because I just do that to make it look a little bit better, but you don't have to. So once those are tightened, you can lift your headlight hood up. Here and here, 2 more screws go. And those are kind of both of these screws look more or less the same as the ones that you put in your headlight hood. And they're with the rounded heads on them. So once these are screwed in, you're gonna want to, actually, there's not much else we have to do. You should only have 4 screws left after putting these 2 in to the front of the machine. You should only have 4 screws. And those are for the last bit of trim and your cord. So once those are in, you can take your trim and line it up at the front first, kind of push it forward, and then click it in the back. And then there's going to be a screw that goes right here. And it's like the one with the large flat head. It's very short. That goes in back here. Then you can take your handle, click that in. Then you're going to take your cord right here, take your cord, and then plug it into the side of your machine, just like that. Take your little cover, start at the bottom, and then bring it up and push that in place. Try not to break it. Then your biggest, their last screw, and it's going to be the biggest one, goes in to secure that down. And then you're going to take your cord, run it up the side of the machine like this, and these are going to be your 2 last, smallest screws. And they also kind of had wider heads, so they don't, I don't know why they do, but they do. Those are T15s, these last 2 screws. So I'm going to put these 2 last screws onto the side of the machine to secure the cord on. And last video, that was made a little while ago now, not super long ago, I did put the bag already back together. So it's going to be nice and polished and cleaned, and you're going to have a pretty nice new looking Kirby. So now you can take your cord, and this is how you're going to run it up the machine. There's a clip, so you're going to clip it onto your bottom handle right here, and then run it up the back of the handle. There's a clip right up here, and then run it back up through your handle and underneath this, underneath your cord hook, like this, like that. And then you can wind up your cable. My mom, she has replaced her cable with I think is it 50-foot cord? The super duper long ones. I think they're 50-foot is the extra long cord. So she splurged and got a nicer cord for hers. Cause I think she bought it when her motor went. Cause my cousin somehow burnt up, well, not burnt up, because the motor, my mom said she still used for a little while after it happened, but it started putting off these bluish sparks out of the side of the vent. So I don't know what that was about, but I think it was because my cousin had the head lowered way down too far to the ground. But that was a while ago. So now you can take your bag assembly, put the bag on, twist, clip that up here at the top, and then grab a new bag and insert at the bottom, then bring it up to the top, clip it in, and then you're going to have this little string that's in here. You're going to want to bring that through the top of the fill tube. Oops. Bring that through the hole in the fill tube and then over that little T. Push this in, and then get your bag inserted. Zip it up. Now you've got yourself a pretty nice refurbished Kirby Sentria 2. It's a lot nicer than before now. So that's all.